Am I the A for reporting my mom for identity fraud? My girlfriend and I put in an application to rent a condo and found out my mom borrowed $43,000 with my social insurance. I talked with a lawyer and he tells me I can either report my mom for identity fraud or pay it off or declare bankruptcy. I confronted my mom and she begs me not to do it and just pay off the debt. I don't have anywhere near that money and decided to do what the lawyer recommended. The lawyer told me filling out the police report is not the same as pressing charges, but I'm still scared of what might happen to her. We used to be very poor, and she used my social insurance to pay the bills and provide for me and my brother. This feels like I'm betraying her, and her and my brother refuse to speak to me. My relatives all stopped talking to me. Am I the A here? People are asking me if my mom or family could pay it. I don't think so. My mom is on social assistance, and my family isn't much better off. My grandma has a house, but I'm not going to ask her to sell it. Also, my lawyer said a police report is just to get the ball rolling on clearing up the debts and recovering my credit. It doesn't include her name, which the lawyer said providing suspect is not necessary. But I'm sure if they tried, they would figure out it's her. My mom might face charges, but it's unlikely she would get jail time. People are asking why she didn't put the loans under her name. She has terrible credit and has declared bankruptcy before, but I'm not sure when. I don't know if my brother has checked his credit. He blocked me on WhatsApp, Facebook, and his phone. To clarify, she probably didn't borrow $43,000. It's probably $10,000 to $20,000 that grew with interest, fees, etc. Not the A. $43,000 is a serious sum. You could consider not doing it if she paid the debt off, if you were feeling okay with that solution. But it's unlikely to happen if everyone, including her, thinks you should be the one to do it. Do they think you're just going to pull that money out of a hat? There are always going to be feelings hurt because family. But is it what family would do to put someone in debt by committing a fraud? Nope, nope, nope. She doesn't have the money. She gets social assistance, which is barely enough to cover her rent and food. Yeah, but you don't have the money either. It's not $400. This is $43,000. Plenty of people wouldn't make that in a year, myself included. What she did is absolutely despicable. You have to file a police report and then cut her out, not the A. Ask relatives to pay her debt, not the A. In situations like this, the family will often blame the victim. This is because they selfishly want the problem to go away, and you can make that happen by choosing to accept being a victim, but then you are the only one who has to pay a price. Why can't they get together and pay off your mother's debt or help her get a loan? Because then it affects them. And if your mother was using your money to support your family when you were a child, it sounds like you've already been supporting her for a long time. I understand you don't want to lose your family, but they're all siding with the person that victimized you. I'd announce that you've worked out a plan to avoid reporting your mother and let them know how much it will cost each of them. Get it all out on the table so they have to explicitly state that it's okay for you to pay, but not for them. My mother used my identity and incurred $10,000 in credit card debt in my name. I had no idea until after getting married, 6 months upon finishing college, and we were trying to buy a house. I was so mad when I found out. I contacted the credit card and told them everything. They wrote it all off, but it stayed on my credit report forever. Cost me many job opportunities, a few promotions, and prevented me from getting lower interest rates. Over the years, she has done little debts in my name, which I have just paid off as it is too much to hassle to fight. Although whenever she asks me for money, I tell her I have already paid for stuff for her. This past year, I purchased her an end-of-life funeral plan and sent her all the details in a pretty card for her birthday. It's not a good relationship. It all goes back to the saying, nobody F's you like family. It is like a default that they can get away with anything because they will love me no matter what, right? Sadly, this is true. I testified when I stayed with distantest relatives and saw a lot of child abuse. I just told the truth of what I saw to the police, but they investigated and found out dreadful stuff, plus a lot of other crimes. I became a pariah, as it should have been a family matter, but this was by people that already knew and were doing nothing. And at the end of the day, that stuff, as well as this, is not a family matter. It's a crime. All I did was tell the truth. If you are doing something you wouldn't want other people knowing about, or would not want to admit to due to being aware you are committing an awful crime against your children, then don't commit the crime. The worst thing about betrayal is that it never comes from an enemy. Please report her. My parents did this to 2 of my sisters and tried to do it to me when I moved out of the country. The other 4 older of us siblings managed to pull $30,000 out of our A's to cover for one sister when she was kicked out of school for defaulted loans she had no idea about. But because we bailed her out, they went and did it to our other little sister, who pressed charges immediately and filed a report as soon as she found out. She's kind of my hero, to be honest. And though all of our extended family is so mad at her, I wish we'd been strong enough as the older children to stand up and do it the first time. Please do not put yourself in a hole, OP, and get your social insurance number changed immediately. To add further consideration, if we had pressed charges the first time, they wouldn't have tried a second sister. While your brother is pissed at you now, you acting now will almost definitely keep her from thinking she can do the same thing to him. Just food for thought, and good luck on eventually getting yourself a condo. Not the A at all. My mom used to use my social insurance number for getting new accounts for internet at TELUS and whatnot. When I moved out on my own, I started getting calls saying, "You owe $4,000 in missed payments. It's going to collections," after I tried getting internet for the first time. Every time they called, they asked for my birth date to confirm my identity, and when I'd give it, they would hang up on me because my mom had used her birth date. I had to fight for 7 years telling them it wasn't me who did it. I was 13 at the time, but they would not stop harassing me, even with threat of legal action. After 7 years, the debt was wiped, as per law in British Columbia, Canada. But she did the same to my brother with another company. I wish I had pressed charges. She went on to F up my life till the day she died. The only thing that held me back is that she would have been deported to the States, even though she hadn't lived there in over 3 decades, because she was technically an immigrant. You are not the A. Please do everything you can to protect yourself and your identity. Not the A. What's really shocking is that she didn't even offer to help you pay it off, unless I'm missing that part. $43,000 is a life-ruining amount of money to owe, at least unless you're very well off. It's completely unfair for her to lie, basically steal your money, and then expect you to set yourself back years trying to pay off the $43,000 or file for bankruptcy. I'm not asking you to answer this here, but consider what she was spending the money on. That might help you decide how you want to handle it. Have you checked to see if your brother has the same issue with his social insurance, or was it just you? You need to file the report and get the number changed. Ask the police what the possible outcome will be, and if they don't have the answer, ask who would. Parents are responsible for their children, and it is up to them to protect them from harm, not cause it themselves. Not the A. Let the family know that your options are limited. If they have a solution that doesn't require you to declare bankruptcy, which you didn't cause, or pay back the money that you didn't borrow, you are willing to listen. Give them a time frame to respond by, 3 days, and then file the report.